Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Allegiance Way Daily Dose. I'm Amy Lassen. Today, we are going to talk about staying on track with your business regardless of the market conditions. I think we need to start with a little honesty. I think most of us have difficulty focusing on doing the things that we know we should do, even in normal circumstances. So today I'm going to talk about all those things that we knew we should be doing all along, like staying in touch with our past clients and spheres of influence, whole sphere of influence, growing our database, and building our systems. Those are the three things that we all know we should be doing ongoing, whether you talk to other agents about it, you talk to your coach, your mentor, your manager. We all know these are the things that we're supposed to be doing to run a vital and thriving and consistent business. And most of us find reasons not to. So today we're going to talk about the actions that you can take to keep you in motion now and long into the future. Now, my challenge in these videos, in this tight 30 minutes, is offering you things that are specific enough and appropriately challenging enough in 30 minutes so that this video has value to you. So I'm going to offer a lot of really concrete suggestions for action that you can take to accomplish all three of those things: staying in touch with your past clients and sphere of influence, growing your database, and building your systems. The other major activities that are vital, the number one that is vital to our business, is setting appointments, and we all know that. Everything else that we do, staying in touch with our clients and sphere, growing our database, what was the other one? I already forgot. See, I have so many notes. Building our systems. Well, building your systems will help you stay in touch with people, but all the communication that you do, all the marketing that you do really is intended to set appointments. Sometimes we have to remind ourselves, what is my job? What is my job, right? Well, it's closing deals. Well, it's talking to people. Well, it's offering guidance. Setting appointments is a pretty good leading indicator of the success that you will have in your business. So we can be setting appointments even in this market. Filling the pipeline is absolutely vital. So if in you making calls and reaching out and doing marketing and doing all the things that you should have been doing all along, you come upon people with genuine questions, genuine real estate needs for listing or sell in this market or in the markets that are to come, I strongly encourage you to set those appointments and go ahead and have video virtual consultations. Do buyer consultations and do listing presentations via Zoom or some other video conference method. And we have previous iterations of the Allegiance Way Daily Dose on both of those things. So if you want to learn about how to do a virtual listing presentation, go back. You can see in the thread here, we have a video on that. And then we have downloads on the allegianceway.com checklist for how to do those sorts of things. We have one specifically on buyer presentations. So check out both of those and make sure that you are not missing opportunities to give advice to the people who know, like, and trust you and the ones who come to know you in the near future. Go ahead and set those appointments. So let us, as usual, I have notes. I prep all of these one day at a time. So I have a lot of action checklists. Today I'm going to share an action checklist with you that I designed specifically for the times that we are in. So yes, all right, so I already covered that. Go to theallegianceway.com, click on the Daily Dose, get those checklists and those downloads. But for the video tutorials, those are right here on the Facebook group, and you can check those out. They're all about 30 minutes long, really close to 30 minutes. So back to my exhaustive list of ideas for you to execute. The truth is, you already have one. I know you do. We all have crazy long lists of ideas or things we've heard about or seen other agents do that we want to try. Even if it's just in your head. You have a list, even if it's just in your head. So I want to offer you a tip for getting your own thoughts organized and actionable, and then I will share my weekly actions checklist with you. So here's the tip. Write everything down. Those of you who have not read the book Getting Things Done, and it's a little bit of a dry read, and it's quite the life transformation if you do the whole process. But one of the simplest things he recommends is we give ourselves too much of a hard time with trying to hold things in our heads. You need to write it down. You need to get it out of your head. You need to write it down, and you need to write everything down in a single place. These are all tips from the book, Getting Things Done. So write it down, and don't write it on multiple notebooks. And those of you who are high expressives like me, you probably have multiple notebooks or multiple ways of tracking things, and that drives you crazy, doesn't it? So for the purpose of this exercise, you're going to dump all your ideas, all your tasks and projects, all the things that you've wanted to do to a single document. It could be paper, it could be electronic. So write everything down, get it out of your head. Next, so step one, write it all down. Be thorough. Step two, and when I send you this, I need to have them numbered instead of bullets. So step two, write time estimates next to each item, okay? Get really clear on what you're even thinking about. How long will this task or project take, okay? Maybe it says develop a professional buyer presentation. Maybe you haven't even been working with one of those. Maybe you don't have a regular way of tracking your expenses month to month, and tax time every year is just an absolute burden. Maybe that's something that you want to get done. These are all big rocks projects, by the way. The list that I'm talking about is everything. Everything. If you wanted to get better at Instagram, or you finally wanted to do your first live video on Facebook, whatever it is that has occurred to you, you just finally want to create a daily habit of writing notes. I don't care how big or how small. Maybe this list of to-dos, some of them are just actual very current to-dos in your life or your business. Put those down. Put them down. Put them down. Don't overthink what belongs on this list. Put everything on there. But when you do time estimates, you'll be able to wrap your head around, oh wait, that one's super quick, and oh my goodness, that one would probably take me 8 hours, okay? Maybe you're going to do some custom design of something that you think is really important to your business, and it's gonna be time intensive. So time estimates next to each one is gonna really, really help you wrap your head around exactly what you're trying to accomplish, okay? Now, this next step will save you headaches for the rest of your life. If any task on this list you estimate will take 5 minutes or less, then block out the time today to do them all. And hopefully it's not 100, because 100 times 5 minutes would be a lot of time. But if in your list of to-dos, you've got quite a few that are 5 minutes or less, take a highlighter and mark every single one of those so that you're sort of pulling them out, at least visually. And those just need to get knocked out today. It's time to just get those ding-dang things done and off your shoulders, okay? So now, with the remaining tasks or projects that are not highlighted, it's time to prioritize which are the most important to your business and to your life, okay? So let's rank them. So take everything that's not highlighted, anything that's not super quick, and give it a priority. It's a number 1, it's a number 2, it's a number 3. And I want to give you a little mindset shift that I learned from the book Essentialism. I love the book Essentialism, by the way, if you haven't read it. In that book, the author says that the word priority, if you trace the origin of the word priority, it was never plural, like in its early iteration, in the earliest uses of it. You couldn't have priorities. It's like, that was an oxymoron, right? You could only have one priority. It was only a singular word. And I want to suggest, as you're going through and you're prioritizing your task, what is the single most important thing to your business? What is the second most important? It may be challenging for you to make that judgment call, but I want to encourage you that you don't have 20 A priorities, because that's just ridiculous, right? This is the thing that trips all of us up. Do you know the expression, if everything is special, then nothing is special? That's 100% true. So when you go through, be really scrutinizing and do the best that you can to establish priorities for the remaining projects. Be ruthless. Be ruthless about what gets your attention. Don't let shiny objects pull you off task. I was recently listening to the book, The 4 Disciplines of Execution, and it states that focusing on fewer initiatives at a time is absolutely vital to your success. Any business owner who focuses on too many things at once is just doomed to frustration. So really do the best that you can to shove the lesser important things aside, and don't let vanity or lack of clarity keep you from your purpose. Another expression that I got from Essentialism is less but better. Less but better, okay? So if you did a few things extraordinarily well, it would be so much better for your business and your life than if you dabbled in a lot of things. So that is my tip for getting your head wrapped around the stuff that you want to do, the things you hope to accomplish. Write them all down, put time estimates, run priorities, and choose the things that are most important to you to accomplish. I'm checking my list. Hang on. So now I'm going to jump you into my checklist. The one that I built for you that you can take action with right now. And let me see how I will do that best. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share the checklist. It's this one. All righty. Let's see if this. Okay. I don't know if it looks small to you guys. I'm going to make it bigger. Okay. So this is going to be much prettier when Chris gets done with it. So thank you, Chris, for for listening in live. I am definitely not the graphic designer in the group, but I wanted you to have a visual aid for the thing that will be dropped into the Daily Dose button. It'll be on the allegianceway.com as available as a download. So this is a week look. Okay, and ideally you would have a place for a date at the top, because if you could be tracking week to week the accomplishments that you're having, the traction that you're getting with simple actions, the better you'll be. So I'm going to walk you clear through this, and this is a 7-day week because there are things that you should do every single day. Not everything that I've written down here as a suggestion needs to be done every day. Most of them do. Most of them are at least 5-day-a-week things. Some of them are probably once a week, okay? The wonderful thing about this document, and I'm actually going to type on it to show you that you could be typing on it or writing on it with a pen, you can get clear about what you accomplished. So this first action I have, add one new friend on Facebook. If you did that every single day, you would have 365 new friends by the end of the year. That's not a bad goal, actually. All right. Now, maybe Sunday you were sitting around and you had a lot of idle time and you actually looked up and found quite a few people that you weren't otherwise friends with that you wanted to be, and you added 3 at once. You could just put ×3 right here, and then you'd be able to tell at a glance what you did. Whatever works for you, you can do a check mark. You can put the exact number, whatever it is that gets you through. So once you look back at your week, you can see how much you accomplished with how many of the cells are filled in. This next one I put, write a handwritten personal note. Some people really, really are good at that. Some people think it's too old-fashioned. I will tell you, it's remarkable the reception that you get when you send handwritten personal notes. And I actually have visual aids because I just want to make it clear what I'm talking about. I hope you can see this. These are from Trader Joe's. They're $1 each. Super, super cute. Here's one that's almost Remaxy. You can see I like lots of color, but these are so cute. You're the best thing since sliced bread. You're the sweetest. Somebody gets this in the mail, they're not going to be annoyed with you that you sent them a thoughtful handwritten note. And if you don't want to spend $1 a person, heck, you can get packs of cool cards for $1 a pack, right? As you can see, I love collecting notes. I write notes. I have a lot more notes that I could be writing. But think about people that you could write notes to. I want to share a little anecdote. I was in a workshop where touching your sphere of influence was the entire point of the workshop. And we held each other accountable every single week to the basic actions that we're all supposed to be doing. Calls, notes, dropping by with thoughtful gifts. All of that was in our weekly actions. We had a quota. We had to write a certain number of handwritten notes every single week. And if we couldn't think of anybody off the top of our head, too bad. Get creative, figure it out, think of somebody. And I remember straining to think of more people. Who else can I write a note to? Who else can I write a note to? And I thought about a woman in my office. It was a fellow realtor. And I just thought, you know what? She is wonderful, and I have meant to tell her so for a long time. And so I just wrote her a note. Now, everything I wrote was completely sincere. The thing that was forced was actually finally doing it. But I wouldn't have written it if I hadn't been forced to by my quota. I wrote her this note, I put it in her box at the office, and oh my goodness, the tearful phone call that I got from her saying how much it meant to her to get that note from me. You just never know the life you're going to impact. So don't dismiss this one as too old-fashioned or unnecessary or not impactful. You have no idea what your notes of gratitude, praise, I'm trying to think of another example. You can say kind things about them, what you appreciate about them, or thank them for anything. And that goes a long way. So handwritten personal notes. And again, you can either just put a check mark. Yep, I wrote one. Write a handwritten personal note. Sunday, check. Monday, check. Or you could do times 5. You know, whatever. Whatever you manage to accomplish that day, wonderful. Do that. Now, post one helpful thing on Facebook. If you are an avid Facebook and Instagrammer right now and you have tons of content going out already, good for you. I want to encourage you to tune it up and be as proactive as possible about making all of your content extremely relevant to the times and really, really helpful. Charlie Bengal has done a really good job of educating all of you in previous videos about how it's so important to not be tone deaf in this time. Please don't pretend that it's business as usual and just talk about real estate all the time. I have gotten so much engagement from the things that I have posted about tutorials on how to use Zoom for my friends and clients who don't use Zoom a lot and they really are struggling with how to use it, or how to access all the free zoo feeds. You know, you can actually get on and watch animals in zoos all over the country and entertain your children, or whatever it might be. A recipe for homemade Play-Doh. There are so many wonderful things that you can share. Maybe those are silly examples, but whatever it is, if there are extraordinary resources in your community, if there are wonderful restaurants doing curbside where you can call in, tip over the phone, and just grab the bag from the curb and not even get out of your car and minimize your exposure and theirs and support a local business, wonderful. Post that list. Post and praise those people. So whatever it is, whatever that looks like for you, post genuinely helpful things on Facebook. Spend 1 hour adding contacts, that needs to be plural, adding contacts to your database. How many times have we chastised ourselves for not getting our database in order? Now, do you want to spend an hour every single day, every single week working on your database? Well, it depends on how much time you have, right? Are you crisis schooling 4 children right now in addition to running your business from home? I'm not asking you to do something that's unrealistic for the current circumstances. I want this guide to be genuinely helpful to you. So if working in your database an hour at a stretch makes really good sense for you twice this week, wonderful. Do this, right? Done and done, right? Praise yourself for the work that you did do. You can look back and see that you spent 2 hours in that week working on adding contacts to your database, whatever that looks like. Send a kind video text. Those of you who follow these broadcasts every single day know that I have shared what incredible responses I get from sending video texts on my phone. For whatever purpose, I was about to text and I sent a video instead, or I was just thinking of someone. I'm sending thoughtful texts, and these, for some people, are as impactful or more so than a handwritten personal note. Maybe it depends on the person that you're sending it to. Hang on just 1 second. I need to check something. Okay, wanted to make sure that we weren't having video issues. Okay, so send a kind video text. If you gave yourself a quota, what if you did 1 a day? 365 of those. Do you know what kind of an impact on your business that would have? Mind-blowing. And even your life. Let me share, and I'm going to try to not get tearful. The things that we are doing in this time that are thoughtful for each other, it's kind of shocking to me how impactful they are. So I'm going to share something very personal. I started reading stories to my extended family via Zoom a couple of weeks ago. It's something that I loved to do when my children were young. I hope you can bear with me being emotional. I loved reading to my children. And my children are grown and gone, but I hung on to a lot of children's books. So I do have a lot of children's books because it meant so much to me. So I've started reading books to my extended family, and it is blowing me away I had no idea. I had no idea how meaningful this would be to them. They join in, they listen, they're connecting other people. More and more people are joining in. I'm actually having to control the background noise. But this is an example of something that I thought of it. I wasn't sure it would work. I had some technical issues with it. I wasn't sure how to show the book. I figured out a way to do it all. And if you're interested in ripping off this idea, I'll happily tell you how I did it. But my point is not that. But all these things that you're considering doing that you think might be the right thing, that you think might be helpful or impactful, please do them. It's just amazing when we reach out and make the time for one another, the impact that it has on our relationships. So, personal story there. Next, call 5 contacts. All right, we really, this is bare bones, people. We need to be staying in touch with our people, our leads, our past clients, everyone we have contact information who either knows us or don't. If you have contact information for a person who knows you, then that person is in your sphere of influence, whether or not there's a past client. Okay, just to define things. Whether or not they've done a deal with you or not, if they know you, they're in your sphere. Okay, now if you haven't educated them before about your business or the value that you serve, then you probably need to do that, right? But you have a list of people. So reach out to all of them and say whatever is appropriate. Okay, if you're calling an old high school friend and you've never talked about real estate before, there is zero reason that you need to say, hi, I'm still in real estate, you want to buy or sell. You don't need to do that. You don't need to do that right now, and you kind of don't need to do that ever. All right, authentic will take you really, really far. So what you can do with 5 contacts a day is you can call and simply check in. Try it. Call, gosh, you'll probably have such good success that you'll do 10 a day. Call 5 people a day and say, oh my goodness, I couldn't let another day go by without calling you. How have you been? And then just shut up. They'll tell you how things are, okay? Talk to them, find out about their family, find out about their work, find out about how things are going for them, stay in touch. The other thing that you can do now and in the weeks to come is ask when they'll be moving next. And I am not kidding, okay? So this is how the script goes. If I were to call Sarah, I would say, Sarah, this may sound like a crazy question, but I know a ton of people who have been planning to buy or sell a home this year or next year, and they're not quite certain if it's still a good time. And so I want to ask, are you one of them? Are you one of them? I'm trying to keep a master list so that I know. Right here, we've had so much crazy interest in homes, and we've had competing offers and all those things. Even now, in the time of social distancing, we still have a lot of that. And so I'm just trying to keep my finger on the pulse. How many people still are really looking ahead to buying or selling this year or next year? Are you one of them? It's not a harsh question. Now imagine if you kept a spreadsheet of all their answers. What if you called 200 people? The norm says that maybe 6 or 7% of all people move in a given year. The national move rate is actually 10%, but I'm not quite sure what that's based on. When we look at farming analysis, things like that, some farms turn over really high, neighborhoods turn over really high at maybe 9 or 10%, and some really low, maybe 4%. So I think that 6 or 7% turnover rate is a perfectly healthy, safe guess for the move rate. So if you talked to 200 people, 12 of them are going to say, yeah, we're not quite sure about the timing, but yeah. So start filling the pipeline, all right? Offer then to do a consultation with them. Oh, really? August? Why August? October? Interesting. What's coming up in your life? Cool. Tell me more about that. Ask them and then offer to do a consultation with them. I want to make sure, I just saw a flicker, that we aren't having any sort of video issues. Hang on. Nope, we're still good. Oh, bear with me. So make sure that you are in genuine communication with every single person you have contact information for. If some of these people are more like older leads, maybe these are people that you met at an open house, that's okay. Reintroduce yourself, ask how things are going for them, and ask if they still had interest in buying a house now or anytime in the future. So you can be filling your pipeline tremendously. The truth is, this market will come back. We don't know when. We don't know when it will come roaring back, but most of us work in markets with really, really high demand. So the market will come back, and I want to encourage you to have been in communication with your clients long before that happens. This is that setting the pace, building a system, creating a very calm way of providing extraordinary service. So there, see, we've hardly even made it through the table. Comment, this is should be easy, but I really want you to take this one seriously. Comment on 10 posts of other people, okay? I had someone brag to me recently that everything she posts gets a ton of likes. Maybe I told you guys this already in a previous video. Ton of likes. Everybody engages with her stuff. And what I was asking her is how much she's engaging with others, and she kind of didn't understand the question. Social media, right, requires give and take, all right? So please get on, find 10 people whose content you can engage with, and don't just heart or thumb, right? Actually comment, and don't be fake, comment in a genuine way. All right, tag, this is database work, tag or label, whatever that means to you, 50 contacts in your database. Hang on, I need some water. I want to be super clear. If you are currently using a database, a CRM of any kind, you probably need to learn to use it better. You probably need to organize it better. If you are not currently using a database, you probably have access to one at your brokerage. And if there's any reason that you shouldn't be doing it that way, then use a spreadsheet, okay? Because if you organize those people, and most of us don't have 500 close, high quality contacts, right? There's only so many people you can have relationships with at a time. Now, I'm not saying you don't have 500 people in your database, that's fine. But if we're doing a little bit of a Band-Aid, which is a spreadsheet, then you can keep the list smaller to your A quality contacts. Now, I'm not saying that's best practices long-term. You want every single person that you have contact information for in a CRM, a client relationship manager, okay? You want to learn how to use it, and you want to organize it, and you want to touch it every day. This is a baseline part of your business. Who remembers when email was new? I actually do. I remember when email didn't exist, and developing a habit of checking email was really challenging because not that many people were using email, okay? So developing a habit to go in and check it was actually annoying to me. I had zero interest in it. I think a CRM is not so dissimilar to some of you. If you don't have a daily habit of checking in with your CRM and your database, you need to develop it. Your CRM, as a real estate professional, is as vital to your business as your email account, all right? So developing a system of touching your CRM and scrubbing your database every single day is vital. Once it's tuned up, once you have all of your Facebook friends in your CRM, everyone in your phone in your CRM, tagged as past clients, church friends, family, whatever. There are different ways of doing tags or whatever your CRM calls them. Label people, categorize people, and then have plans for following up. Baseline. Now that was a lot. That was a lot to say for a tiny little item. So figure that out. And again, like I said, you don't have to do this every single day and feel overwhelmed. If you were to look back at your week sheet and see that 2 of the cells were filled in, 3 of the cells were filled in, that you tagged or labeled 50 people in your contacts list, I think you'd feel pretty good. And eventually you're going to get it tuned up, and it's going to be something that serves you every single day. Next item, create one explainer video for your video library. What if you did 1 a week? All right. And if you're intimidated, if you're uncomfortable, then do it for practice. You can just do it into your own phone and then watch the recording back. Okay. So don't not try it because you're afraid. You don't have to go live on Facebook. You can actually just practice and do video. So an explainer library, these videos are for every single step of the transaction, all right? You can take your bulleted checklist of things that need to happen or things that you need to remind the buyer or seller of, and then figure out which ones of those are appropriate for videos, all right? So maybe I send out the video to my buyers. This week is inspection. We're having our inspection on Thursday. I send the video to Jan and John on Monday, and I say, hey, Jan and John. Well, now that I think of it, if it's pre-recorded, it wouldn't say, hey, Jan and John. But with something like BombBomb, I can have the pre-recorded video down here, and I can have a video up here with me saying, hey, Jan and John, watch the video below about what you can expect from your inspection this week. Talk to you soon. right? So the video itself, the pre-recorded, the evergreen videos are those that you take a long time to craft. Not long, you take a little more care to craft, and you put in a can so you can reuse them. That's what an evergreen video is. If you started to create your evergreen library now, once you're up and running again, and I'm not saying that you don't have deals going now, quite a few of you are as busy as you have ever been. I know that. But those of you who are either taking a breather and homeschooling your kids or something else, you will be super, super busy in a couple of months. And I want your systems in place so that you can handle it. All right. So the wonderful thing about having an explainer library is when those phases in the transaction come up, you simply fire off the video with a reminder and that you will be in touch. It's very, very personal because they can see your eyes through the video and it feels like they're being cared for. They're not having to call you and say, now wait, what's the deal with the inspection again? You were on top of it before they asked. So one explainer video each week, 52 in a year. That'd be one heck of a library. Spend 2 hours on your number one project. Now remember, we talked about, okay, so back to the idea of how do you categorize your to-do list, right? After you've established priorities, I think you should look at that number one, number two. If you're unsure which one's which, look at your top priorities on your to-do list and ask yourself, is this something important and actionable right now? Okay. Maybe it's something that will just need to wait because of the current circumstances, or maybe it's actionable right now. So ask yourself that question, and then ask, is the cost for the project appropriate? I'll use a ridiculous example. Maybe you have this idea that you want this elaborate custom website, and it's going to be massively expensive. Well, maybe push that one down. Like, well, maybe that was a bad example because I don't think most of us need a big expensive website. So, but what I'm asking you to do is establish a number one priority project by analyzing whether it's cost appropriate and time appropriate. Okay? Is it a good thing for you to start right now? Once you have established your number one project, figure out blocks of time to work on it. All right? What if 2 or 3 times in one of your week sheets you could see that you had spent no less than 2 hours on your number one project? You're going to start to get traction. You really, really are. Send your weekly newsletter with cool resources. Now, if you were not doing a weekly newsletter before now is a perfectly great time to start. And I have a friend who uses MailChimp and sends out wonderful, wonderful resources. You could be sending some of those same things that I mentioned that are cool, helpful Facebook posts or Instagram posts. Not everyone who knows, likes, and trusts you that you have email addresses for is also a friend of yours in social media. So it may be a wonderful thing to also send via email and newsletter. So figure that out. Don't overthink it. Make it super simple. If you're a RE/MAX Allegiance agent, RE/MAX has templates for newsletters, but something like MailChimp is relatively easy to learn, and you can insert links and even videos. So send some sort of a weekly touch in your email. I would not bombard people with things they don't want to read. Make it something you would want to open, and depending on the tool you use, track your open rate. Some people say to me, I emailed such and such to 200 people, and they count that as 200 touches. Well, if your open rate is 12%, that's 24 people. So get clear about who's actually seeing your content, either in social media or in email. All righty, the last thing I have on this list as an example, but I really want you to look at your own priorities and make sure you create a weekly action list that makes good sense for you. That is ridiculous. Did you guys see that my battery's low? That's hysterical. Virtual pop buys. All right. Virtual pop buys can be something that you do for the highest quality contacts in your list. If you have something really thoughtful you want to send to somebody, order it online and have it shipped to their house. Blow their mind. Kind of just the same as any other pop buy. Now, I am a little concerned about the battery situation. So I'm going to stop sharing and wrap this up. So here's what I have for you. We have the weekly action checklist that will be available for you shortly. I also have something I call the list of lists. For those of you who don't even know what projects you should be prioritizing, I can provide you with the list of lists. Actually, it's already on the allegianceway.com, but we'll make sure it gets under the daily dose. And you can download that, and that may give you some ideas for things that you want to focus on. The truth is, there is a lot that we can be doing to stay on top of our business and provide extraordinary service. We just have to be consistent, all right? So in order to create new habits and the ability to focus, you're going to have to commit to some time. If you would say for 1 hour a day, you will sit down with your list of actions and race to check them off. Set a timer on your phone so that you know you're racing the clock, all right? Put some pressure on yourself. Turn off all your distractions. Close any other tabs or programs that are unnecessary. And if you get constant notifications on your phone, you probably want to put it in airplane mode and disconnect it from the internet. You got to focus, seriously. If you successfully get through an hour and you still have more energy to focus, then set another amount of time and keep going. But if you have drifted off and you're starting to multitask, stop. Don't call this focus time if you're not focused. We're trying to develop a habit here, all right? So that is my suggestion. Please download the weekly actions checklist. Please be doing your best to provide quality service and build your systems in the background with this incredible time. These are uncertain times. I am well aware. We are all in a different headspace, but we can all focus on improving our skills and improving our systems. We here at RE/MAX Allegiance are here to help you with that. So focus on what you can make better, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.